Over the past few years, Team USA basketball has been somewhat disappointing. I mean, in 2019, their only All-NBA player was Kemba Walker, and they ended up finishing in a dismal 7th place. Then at the 2021 Olympics, despite having Kevin Durant and securing the gold, the roster was missing many superstars and felt more like a B squad at best. By the 2023 FIBA World Cup, they didn't even bring their B squad, opting instead for a C squad, and ultimately failed to secure even a bronze medal.
Canada, maybe their greatest moment in international basketball.
Disappointing is how Team USA has been in recent years, both in the excitement of their roster and their performance on the court. You can see it on the players' faces, in the coach's expression, and in the eyes of the audience.
USA men's basketball have put together a Monstars level squad. Finally, it's about time. They've been putting some trash rosters out there for international competitions recently.
In September 2023, however, everything changed when an article from The Athletic, a subsidiary of the New York Times, was published, igniting excitement across the globe. In that article, in bold letters for the headline, wrote, "LeBron James ready to commit to 2024 Olympic team, recruiting fellow stars." Finally, the world was about to witness Team USA at full strength once more, showcasing the best of the best. I mean, LeBron James himself was on a recruiting mission, which meant the GM was going back to work. And man, LeBron certainly didn't let anyone down. Alongside himself, the roster immediately featured the greatest shooter the world has ever seen, Steph Curry, and one of the best scorers in history, Kevin Durant. So, right from the start, Team USA already had 3 of America's top players from the past decade. And though they're a bit older now, they were still All-NBA players in 2024. On top of that, they had Baby Jordan, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum, the Celtics superstar fresh off a championship win. Heck, LeBron even managed to convince Joel Embiid to switch allegiance from France and join Team USA. This was the absolute best the US had to offer, and on paper, it was like a cheat code, an unbeatable team that every NBA fan simply had to watch.
It'd be really tough for America not to win this. I'm trying to figure out, there would have to be some sort of ego alpha dog weirdness.
This team is being viewed and hyped is one of the best Olympic teams that the USA has had ever. You're going to compare them to the Dream Team.
The question that people are posing, and I'm sure you have a take on, I know I do, could this 2024 Paris Olympics men's basketball squad for the USA be as good or greater than the 1992 Dream Team that started it all?
Once the dust settled and the excitement built up, July arrived, marking the start of the preliminary games. And after breezing through their first 3 games, they went up against what should have been an even easier opponent, South Sudan. South Sudan, South Sudan, South Sudan. The first thought that crossed my mind when I saw them matched up against South Sudan was, is there a North Sudan? A quick Google search later, I learned that North Sudan is simply called Sudan. My world geography isn't terrible, but this just highlights how little known this team is. And it wasn't just me. No one really knew much about this team. I mean, the team was so under the radar that it led to a massive point spread for the game, somewhere around 43 or 44 points. I didn't even bother watching this game to start because, like most people, I have better things to do than sit through a 40-point blowout. But when I checked the score at halftime, South Sudan was actually leading by 14 points.
Probably both. Curry at the defense on Jones, who finds Deng on a nifty feed.
Holy smokes! I quickly turned on the TV, and with each passing minute, I breathed a sigh of relief as Team USA regrouped in the third quarter. They managed to close the gap and eventually regain the lead.
Looking for more. It's Booker! He ties the game. 76.
At the start of the fourth quarter, I promised myself I'd turn the TV off as soon as Team USA pulled ahead by 20 points. But the longer I watched, the more I realized that a 20-point lead wasn't coming. I mean, halfway through the fourth quarter, it had turned into a 1-point game. South Sudan kept scoring relentlessly, and whatever Team USA was doing, it just wasn't working. It looked bad. Then, with just 20 seconds left, South Sudan delivered a blow that could have dealt Team USA an unprecedented humiliation.
For the lead. Who wants to be a hero? It's Thor for the lead!
They nailed a three-pointer, taking a 100-99 lead with the clock winding down to just 20 seconds. Team USA called a full timeout because they had no choice. Sure, this was just a preliminary game, and it didn't directly affect the Olympics, but their national pride was on the line. I mean, this wasn't Serbia with a 3-time MVP, or Greece with Giannis, or even Canada with SGA. This was South Sudan, a team without a single active NBA player. And to top it off, this was a team that, for the past 4 years, had been entirely funded by Luol Deng, for Pete's sake. Anyway, with just seconds left on the clock, the ball was in LeBron's hands, and he did what he does best. Just like he did against Indiana nearly a decade ago, LeBron lowered his shoulder like a locomotive, barreling to the basket with everything he had and scoring the game-winning shot.
LeBron drives for the lead. He puts it in.
Can you imagine if LeBron had missed that shot? The headlines, the endless critiques from Skip Bayless, and the world's reaction. How that could have impacted his legacy. Sheesh, guys.
We got the males almost lost to some Africans. Yeah, we almost lost to them.
After the game, the world laughed a bit, but eventually shrugged it off, thinking, close call, but no big deal.
Where should our level of concern be for Team USA?
Well, there's a fine line between being tested and being beaten, as anybody will tell you.
Bad games are part of basketball. It happens to everyone. Sometimes you're off and your opponents are on. One day you might have a legendary Game 6, and the next you're 0 for 10 from the field. Whatever the case may be, it's all part of the game, and you just have to move on to the next game. And for Team USA, their next challenge was up against the defending world champions, Germany. Team USA was fortunate. In life, most people have to wait weeks, months, or even years to fix their mistakes and make things right. But for Team USA, they only had to wait 48 hours. In their game against Germany, Team USA came out with a vengeance. They looked unstoppable in the first quarter, leading by 12 points as if they were on a mission. As the game progressed, it was obvious. They were channeling their frustration from the South Sudan game into every play against Germany.
Keeps it out alive, but into the hands of Adebayo. Nice pass. Edwards to Embiid. Pretty.
It was the dominant performance everyone had been expecting. USA Basketball was back to being USA Basketball. But then it happened again. Much like the game against South Sudan, Team USA struggled to execute their game plan, and Germany wasted no time capitalizing on their mistakes.
Out. Tice. He's been better than about 34% decent.
It was hard to believe this could happen again in back-to-back games, yet here we were, watching it unfold right before our eyes.
Again, using the screen and a foul. A chance at a 4-point play.
By the end of the third quarter, Germany had taken a 2-point lead, and Dennis Schroeder, the 2023 World Cup MVP, was smelling another victory. As the game went on, that smell only grew stronger because, with just over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the score was tied at 80 apiece. No way. What was going on? Could Dennis Rodman have been right when he said,
Steve Kerr ain't coaching shit. Steve Kerr's having a good time. He ain't coaching. He just having a good time. He just sit there and let us shit shoot.
Whatever was happening, it wasn't good. Sure, Germany was a stronger team than South Sudan and had a few NBA players, but a star-studded Team USA with LeBron, Steph, Tatum, Embiid, and others shouldn't be struggling against Dennis frickin' Schroeder and the Wagner brothers. That just doesn't happen. This wasn't Team USA's C squad or even their B squad. This was their best of the best. Sure, it might not compare to the Dream Team or the Redeem Team, but this was their top talent in 2024. And even though the world is caught up, like I just said, you don't lose to Dennis frickin' Schroeder and the Wagner brothers. Anyway, LeBron understood better than anyone what was at stake. Technically, nothing was on the line, but in reality, everything was.
Listen, if they lose, we can't let them back in the country. We can't. I told them they can't come back.
In those final 4 minutes, LeBron took control, reminding the rest of Team USA who's boss.
Finds James, knifing through with the left hand. Nice place for the
Love him or hate him, it's remarkable that on a team full of superstars, it was 39-year-old LeBron who had to put on the Batman cape and carry them to victory. I mean, he did it all in those final 4 minutes, and without him, Dennis Schroeder would have once again walked away in triumph. After the game, I was curious to see what Skip Bayless, LeBron's biggest critic and hater, had to say. And I have to admit, even as his career was about to come to an end with Fox, Skip stayed true to form and didn't miss a beat.
Okay, I got something I need to remind both of you of. It is crucial to this discussion.
I don't want you. No, he don't talk about the two missed free throws. No, I know what he's going to.
I don't think you do.
Okay, go ahead, Skip. Go ahead.
These are practice games.
Okay.
These don't count. These are exhibitions. These are what the internationals call friendlies, which is
it's an indicator,
term.
though. This is an indicator. It's a small sample size indicator.
It's just practice. And as I tweeted at the end of the game yesterday, LeBron James is the king of practice games.
Anyway, like one would expect, the entire basketball world was shaken.
But the most shocking thing for me, Skip, is that it's coming down to this in these games. That's what's shocking to me. That it's coming down to LeBron's heroics just for them to win. They're a 40-point favorite, they win by 1. They're a 15-point favorite, they win by 4.
This wasn't just a fluke anymore. Team USA had come dangerously close to losing 2 consecutive games. I get that they didn't have Kevin Durant, but still, you don't nearly lose to teams where you're the overwhelming favorite.
U.S. men hold off Germany 92-88. So much for that. Boy, that was a scare. That'll never happen again after barely getting by South Sudan. Germany's a good team, but still, you're winning by 4 points.
NBA YouTube was going off. The entire basketball world was in shock. Team USA had almost lost, not once, but twice. This was supposed to be the modern-day dream team, and if they had lost, even in an exhibition game, it would have been unprecedented, a sign that something significant had shifted. Like, imagine someone outrunning Usain Bolt at his peak, or defeating John Jones in the UFC. Now, take that shock and multiply it by 100. That's the magnitude of what was happening. The world was starting to believe that USA Basketball had finally lost its dominance. Thankfully, USA Basketball had one last ace up its sleeve, and that was this man right here. Here's a video taken in a nightclub showing a man practicing his jump shot. Yes, practicing basketball in the middle of a nightclub. Well, that man is Kevin Durant. He had been sidelined throughout the Olympics with an injury. But now, with the group stages about to begin and the games finally meaning something, Durant was ready to make his return. And well, any notion that Team USA was looking vulnerable or that they could actually lose was quickly thrown out the window.
Durant for 3. I mean, I'm running out of superlatives, folks.
I mean, boom, 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 splash, splash, splash. Team USA suddenly looked like the dream team we all expected them to be.
LeBron! Oh, dazzling!
a 26-point victory over Nikola Jokic in Serbia, a 17-point redemption win against South Sudan, who nearly upset them just a week earlier, and another dominant 21-point win over Puerto Rico. These may not be the 40-point blowouts of the 1992 Dream Team, but in a basketball world where the competition has caught up to Team USA, they're still impressive. Team USA now looks head and shoulders above the rest, though the real test will come in the knockout games. Still though, it's a complete turnaround from just a week ago, when everyone thought Team USA was in serious trouble. Team USA really had everyone fooled, at least the men's team did. The women's team, however, is a different story. In fact, the women's side of Team USA made a shocking decision recently by leaving Caitlin Clark off the roster. And let me tell you, it was a major misstep. If you're curious about how that happened and how it's playing out, click on this video here where I break down the whole situation.